Here are my two takeaways.
Okay.
Bullpen, why is it always a problem for a super rich team like the Red Sox? And I am concerned about the Xander Bogaerts thing because a hamstring is just one of those injuries that we see linger no matter what sport you play.
Yeah, I agree with you on both counts. I mean, this bullpen issue, you look at the number of pitchers that they have on the roster right there. How many do you really like? How many do you trust? How many do you look at and say, absolutely give him the ball for as many innings as he can go? 1, 2,
well, Garrett Whitlock.
3 at the most?
We know Garrett Whitlock is that because I think Alex Cora would have ridden him into the 12th inning.
I think you're right. But beyond him and Evaldi, I don't know. I don't know what you've got. Where was Matt Barnes at the end of this game? And I know we're going to get to that too, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk to Tomase about it. So I think you're right on the bullpen. And in terms of this injury for Bogaerts, I mean, the timing of it, literally coming out of the box, coming out of the gate, first game of the year. I don't want to overreact, but let's overreact anyway and say this would be really bad for the Red Sox if this is how the season is starting, if this is something they're going to have to deal with for the entirety, the 162.
I mean, he clearly hurt himself on the swing, Hardy. It's not like he started sprinting down the first base line and then kind of pulled up. He took his swing big and automatically out of the box kind of like went like this, which says to me that there was something. He said it felt weird. Like I said, we're going to hear from Bogaerts. But first, let's check in with John Tomase, who is in the Bronx. Oh, hey, look at the big John Tomase. Tomase, what were your takeaways from this game?
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit on them, certainly, Trenni. Bogaerts is a big deal. We talked to him after the game. I was standing right next to him. He did not look or sound to me, even though he said he plans to play tomorrow, he didn't look like a guy who actually feels that way. You guys said it, especially these upper hamstring injuries, that's a major concern. If this turns into 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4, like, who knows? You don't want to get ahead of yourself, but certainly concerning. And then the other thing is the bullpen. And I guess the way I would come at the bullpen is, who pitches tomorrow? You know, today you used Garrett Whitlock. You tried to ride him. I really do believe that Alex Cora would have let him go the last 4 innings of that game if he could have closed it out. Tomorrow you got to start over, and where do you turn? Hansel Robles was your first guy out in the 9th inning of a tie game. He only made his spring debut on Monday. He wasn't even supposed to be on the team. So this just says to me that they don't have a handle yet on who they can trust. It's not to say they won't figure it out. They managed to keep this game going into the 11th, but I'm really concerned about that back end.
Yeah, I mean, all of us are like, wait, who's this guy with the long hair? Hold on a second, I've never seen this guy before. And you're Google searching who Matt Strom is, and then you go, ho, last year he had 6 appearances and had an 8.10 ERA. You get a little worried. Hardy, I do wonder, like, to me, one of the biggest issues with the Red Sox bullpen in the last couple of years has been that they have to go to them early and often because you just don't use your starters the way that you used to, and then you run through guys like this today.
Right, and John, you know, looking at their numbers, it wasn't all that bad. It wasn't a bloodbath, but it seemed like these guys were behind in the count a lot. And it doesn't seem like they've got that one guy beyond Whitlock that they can trust to go more than an inning or so.
Yeah, where was Barnes? What's going on with Matt Barnes?
Yeah, so Alex Cora said after the games, Barnes has a sore back and wasn't available. They don't think it's a long-term injury. Whether that's true, whether they're just protecting the guy, because, you know, all spring we've heard Matt Barnes' velocity isn't where it needs to be. He's learning things from figure skaters and his dog and all of this kind of stuff to fix his delivery. So maybe they just felt, we're not going to go to Matt Barnes this early in the season in this kind of a pressure situation. That is a huge concern because when you talk about bullpens, you start at the back and you don't know who the guy is at the back.
And the guy's supposed to be your closer,
Which
right?
part?
Like he's supposed to be one of your most. He's supposed to be one of like your most experienced, trusted closers. And either he literally legitimately has a back injury, which is a problem, or he's too fragile of psyche and delivery right now and velocity that you don't trust to throw him out there. None of that sounds good. Speaking of not sounding good, Xander Bogaerts, as we showed, he did drive in a go-ahead run in the 10th inning, but he pulled up lame as he was in the batter's box and struggled to get to first base, had to be taken out of the game, did not finish it. Here's what he had to say afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It wasn't good, though. And, I mean, I try to do whatever to don't feel it, you know, and kind of went away for a little bit. So it was at least a good sign, but It wasn't a normal thing that happens every day.
You feel like you can be in the lineup tomorrow, or is it just a matter of how it feels when you wake up?
I think so. Yeah, if you ask me. Right now, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I'm not placing any money on him being in the lineup tomorrow. Are you placing any money on him being in the lineup tomorrow?
No, but I mean, like wishy-washy. It's like, oh, it didn't feel good. You're going to be in the lineup tomorrow? Yeah, I think I can go in tomorrow. I mean, I don't know what to believe. We've seen it now a couple of times, and, we just heard what he said. But if I had to bet on it, I would say no. If they're being that careful with the likes of Matt Barnes, why wouldn't they do the same for the likes of Xander Bogaerts?
Yeah, listen, that guy, I would just say that Bogaerts is tough. He's durable. Like, you don't worry about him. If he can play, he'll be out there. Just looking at him and listening to him and seeing how he grabbed at his leg, it just doesn't seem reasonable as an expectation to me. And just think about how emotional the last couple of days have been for Bogaerts. He doesn't get a contract extension, which he clearly wants. He does want to be here. He then has to go out and play right away. He doesn't have a great spring, but he comes in here. He's raking right from the jump. And then he gets hurt, and it's just like, oh boy, is this what we're looking at for what could be his final season in Boston? Fits and starts. Don't want to get too far ahead of things, but it's certainly not a good omen.
Yeah, certainly did not look good. All right. We asked John Tomase 2 days ago what would be the Red Sox Achilles heel this season. Without hesitation, he answered the bullpen, and that's what did them in today. The Sox asking too much from Garrett Whitlock, then relying on the likes of Matt Strahm, Hansel Robles, and Cutter Crawford, just to name a couple of guys. If you wonder what Alex Cora believes in his bullpen after Whitlock, Cora was asked after the game just how long he wanted to ride Whitlock for.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into details, right, because then I'm tipping my hand over there, but we were going to, he was supposed to pitch on Tuesday. At one point, we were like, you know what, he can pitch on Wednesday. So, we were just going as deep as possible because he was ready for that. That's what we had planned yesterday. And then when I saw him out there, I was like, you know what, it doesn't matter. He can piggyback Nate on Wednesday. So it was shorter than what we were thinking yesterday, but it was more about the matchups later on, and I think he did an amazing job. He was really, really good.
All right, let's deep dive this series. Yankees, Red Sox feeling big again. We got the Boston Herald's Jason Mastrodonato alongside our very own John Tomase. And Jason, let's start with you. As we talked to Tomase in the first block, I mean, that bullpen today, how do you walk away from this game thinking, what do you think about this bullpen?
Well, I mean, it's exactly what we thought was going to happen. I thought Nathan Eovaldi might go a little bit deeper in this game. Only 75 pitches from him. He went 89 pitches in opening day last year. If the bullpen's not going to eat these innings, if you don't trust them, then it's got to be the starter. You have to be extending somebody. Whitlock cannot be the only guy that you believe in. Now, we know it takes time to get roles assigned in the bullpen. Matt Barnes was not available today. That hurts. You don't know who's really looking good because he had a short spring training. That hurts. So it's hard not to overreact. The problem is, how far are they going to push their starters if their bullpen's not ready? Today, only 75 pitches from Eovaldi. He was throwing harder than he did all year last year. I thought they might push him a little bit deeper.